by closing our eyes and taking that big breath in, acknowledging our oneness. As we release this breath, acknowledging, it's so wonderful to acknowledge that God is all there is. Knowing that this is the truth of life, and it's right here and right now, and for all moments of right here and right now. And the unity that is within each living thing is that oneness. There's no separation whatsoever. So that oneness is within, and that oneness is without, and that's unity. 1 + 1 is 11. And in this space, in this knowing, in this understanding, I have that I get to feeling of I get to declare unto this law that always says yes. This law that says, yes, you're here right now, ready and willing and allowing yourself to be so, to hear what is meant to be heard, seen what is meant to be seen, as has been prepared by Adrian and everyone else to create this service to run as smoothly as it does. And I am so excited, as everyone is, to know that Reverend Sunshine Daye is here, receiving the message in, through, and as her, and giving it to us. What a gift. So that I know all is well, and I know my heart is filled with gratitude, and I love knowing that too. So I give these words unto that law that says yes, and know it is already so, in the mind and in the heart of God, and you and I may affirm and aver by saying, and so it is.
At Center for Spiritual Living Beaumont, we believe in spiritual living. Above all else, it is a philosophy that teaches us how to think and not what to think. We invite everyone to practice this philosophy by living in principle. We believe that God is all there is, and each person's relationship to God is a personal one. Every person, place, and thing, and all the space in between is not only an expression of God, but God itself. All love, peace, and beauty that is God exists within each person right now. Together we are all connected as one. Our faith allows us to apply this philosophy to our lives in every moment of every day. As we live in love, we see love revealed and flowing through the world around us. We act as citizens of this spiritual community at all times. This is how we think. We believe in God, we believe in ourselves, and we believe in you, because we believe in spiritual living. We are the Center for Spiritual Living Beaumont.
Good morning, beloveds. What a joy it is to greet you on this beautiful Sunday. My name is Sunshine Daye, and I greet you in the name of love. I also bring greetings from my center, where I get to be the spiritual director. So greetings from Vida Spiritual Learning Center. We are a 52-year-old community that was named Downey Center for Spiritual Living, and now we're called Vida Spiritual Learning Center. At the heart of that is the heart of all of our centers, that we are spiritual educators and that we are here to provide that spiritual education. So I greet you in the name of joy, and I just simply want to say thank you for inviting me to your vibrant and dynamic community. This year, 2022, we get a new theme. We get a new theme for the year, a new theme for the month, and it's my understanding that for 2022, it is Living Everyday Wonder. Living Everyday Wonder. And this month is Living Everyday Wonder, and the title for the talk today is Wonder, Wonder Everywhere. Now, I like to look up words. And so I had this feeling, and it sounded like this, just giving you a little bit of insight into the activities of my brain. I wonder what wonder means. And immediately, in just that sentence and that phrase, I wonder what wonder means, I already started to grasp this sense of not just curiosity, because curiosity is great. I get curious about a lot of things, but sometimes I feel like when I'm curious, it's more like being, Mrs. Kravitz, the nosy neighbor who wants to know, metiche, and just wants to be in all the little stuff. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? But as I began to really explore this idea of wonder and wondering, that it really comes from a deep sense of interest and surprise. That I'm interested in understanding. The other meaning for wonder is this sense of awe, this sense of those things that make you go, wow, wow. I know in some of my communities, we take everyday things like looking at a beautiful plant and going, wow, look at God, with that kind of an accent. Look at God, and look at the essence and the beauty and the magnificence. I have a couple of friends, one who recently in the last 3 years made her transition, Erica Luckett and Lisa Ferraro, and they would sing about, if you're not in awe, like check your pulse. Check your pulse if you are not in awe. Why do you think they would make that kind of a comment? If you're not in awe, like check yourself. Sure, I want to reply. I like interaction.
I thought you did. To me, it means like every moment is this now moment, and I have the honor of being alive and well and whole and perfect and complete in honor of God consciousness, and it's also kind of my duty to be in awe, to live the best life.
So that means that just so that everybody gets a little piece of what was just spoken, is that to be in awe in each and every moment is an honor to be in this God consciousness, to recognize the one power, the one presence, the one life that is God, that is living in, through, and as you. My main message today, whether it's on wonder, and the awe of life, is that right where you are, so the one that is seated in your seat is the beautiful, magnificent, powerful, unrepeatable way that life is showing up. And if you are not in awe of that, like I am the unique, when you see me, you see life. And that each and every moment that we get an opportunity to cast our gaze upon beauty, that we could be in awe. Take a moment right now and just open your hand and take a look at your hand. If it's shiny, if it's dull, the lines, the wrinkles, the way that they move, the way you can actually, without even thinking about it, command your fingers to do certain things and move in a certain way. And notice as you turn and flip them over, the message that you're giving yourself. Are you in this community or in the communities, in the world, one of those people that go, oh my God, look at my hand, they're so ugly. Look at the wrinkles. Oh, I'm aging. Look at this spot. Or are we instead going, whoa, so this is what my body looks like and feels like at this phase of my development. You see, beloveds, it's so important to continue to be in that wonder, in that surprise, in that joy, in that awe that God is expressing as you, that life is expressing as you. You're not just a throwaway. You're not just some mere human. You are spirit, fully expressing, and these are the challenges and the phases that we get to experience as part of our eternal life. Like, you caught me in my eternality. Ta-da! Do you have the wherewithal to stand before a mirror and look at yourself and go, wow, look at God. Look at God. Look at God showing out, showing off. Because in each and every moment, the moment we don't recognize the truth of who we are, we're busy being in separation. Alan Watts talks a lot about this, that we pretend or we entertain and we begin to believe that we're separate from the one. And oh, by the way, that is an impossibility. Or as I like to say to my community, you're the unique, unrepeatable, perfect, magnificent, divine, powerful way that God shows up in human form. Act like it. Act like it. You know, it's interesting because as I think about wonder, as I think about the awe of life, many folks today that I've, whether they're my clients, whether they're people in my spiritual community or in my home community, so many times folks are fighting for their limitations. Fighting for that separation, that idea of separation. In other words, oh, life sucks. Here we are having to wear masks indoors, stay 6 feet apart, and do this and do that. And oh, I can't wait for life to be like it used to be. And I'm sure that you've heard this yourself, and no harm, no foul. You can raise your hand and say, yeah, I've said that because I'm frustrated with humanity and where we're headed and where we're going. Now, the invitation is to pause. To pause and recognize and ask self, am I taking anything for granted right now? Wow. I remember writing, if we ever get beyond COVID, I'll never take hugging people for granted again, shaking hands again. I'll never take for granted meeting at the park and playing and bumping into somebody. Oh, excuse me. Oh, But it's so easy for me to look back on those days and go, I won't ever take that for granted again. But it doesn't serve me or you, because we are indeed one, it doesn't serve us to reminisce about what we won't take for granted ever again and be in the here right now, taking for granted that we get to meet in the sanctuary, that we get to actually come together, that we get to fist bump or elbow bump, or if we've been vaccinated and with certain communities that we actually get an opportunity to embrace. We must not take this moment for granted. I know that there's a friend of mine who when we talk, we're in awe of our life experiences, of the things that we have this opportunity to engage in and upon. And we often say to ourselves, oh, and we thought that was the surprise. What I mean by that, and what we mean by that, is like, oh, somebody left you a car and gifted you this car. Like, and that's like this big thing. Like, you know, for her, it's like, oh yeah, there's this big thing. Somebody gave me a car. They just gave it to me. Here you go. Boom. And we thought that was the surprise. But, oh no, it was like what you got to do with the car, where you got to go with the car. And then, oh, we thought that was the surprise. And as we begin to actually look, you know, when I think about all of the activities in my life that I thought, wow, that was the surprise. Wow, that was the awe. It never ends. It only ends when you stop it. Because the awe and the wow and the wonder of life is all directed by you. I know that I get an opportunity to wake up in the mornings and I get to go, it's a great day to be alive. And there are times where I even say, I wonder what's going to happen today. I wonder what adventures I'm going to be a part of today. And that even with our current circumstances and situations, to awaken to that wonder. Now, some of us, especially here in this community, as in my community, you know, they'll go, yeah, Sunshine, but you're still young. You're still a youngster. You still have plenty of life to live. Me, I'm in my 60s, my 70s, my 80s. In my community, we have folks in our 90s. You know, yes. And you know, folks want to go, yeah, of course you have that sense of wonder. But when you get to my age, I don't ever want to lose my sense of wonder at any age. I mean, wasn't it you who thought the same thing at 20? At 30, at 40, at 50, at 60, at 70, at 80, right? And plus? Like, don't we always think, oh yeah, but when you get to my age? No. What are you putting into place now, today? Because your life is eternal. Yeah, we've got, you know, we're living in the dash. You know, the date of birth and the day that we leave this body. So we're living in that dash in this moment. But that dash is still vibrant and alive. And we give it whatever meaning we want to give it. Now, of course, I love the video that we saw earlier today on imagination and Willy Wonka and you know, and eating all the candy and the pleasures of our human existence. And I am not suggesting that we live in some fantasy imagination, but I am suggesting that our imagination, the brain doesn't know the difference between reality and imagination. And that with the power of our imagination, we create our reality. And so, are you creating doom and gloom? Or are we taking advantage of each and every breath? So this is what a wrinkle looks like at 58. Oh, So this is what this looks like at 65, at 24. I wonder what it's going to be like in 10 years from now, 5 years from now, next week. I wonder. I'm going to hang around. I'm going to hang around and check it out. Oh, so this is, okay. This is what the knee feels like after full life of living and running and ripping and doing and living life and surfing and skiing and doing all of those. That's what that's like. I wonder what it's like in another week, in another month. You see, at Centers for Spiritual Living, we believe that we can create a world that works for all. And what that encompasses is starting right here. A world that works for all begins with me. And so I get to check myself. I get to check out whether or not I am participating from that place of doom and gloom and despair and life sucks, or if I am actually in that sense of awe and wonder and watching how life creates. I am in awe of COVID. COVID is the unique, unrepeatable way that God is showing up. It continues to replicate and grow and continues to try to live simultaneously with humanity and plant life and mountains and the ocean and doing what it does. It is simply trying to live even though it destroys while it also lives. So I wonder what's in the brain of our scientists and our medicine people who are looking for ways to eradicate something that continues to devastate humanity. I wonder what it's like to be them. I wonder what it's like to be a plant that has the solution and that plant is simply going, pick me, I'm the answer, look over here. That without that sense of surprise and awe and recognition that all life is God expressing, that we continue to cut each other down, that we continue to create circumstances and situations to diminish life instead of living life fully. You know, I was really rooting for Betty White. I wanted to celebrate her 100th birthday on the 17th, and yet what I know is that her life is eternal. I had an opportunity to meet her and to have some conversation with her because she was involved in so much. And yet what I know is that her life is just as eternal as my life is. And that she, what I imagine, lived a life of wonder. Didn't let it stop. So the question is, beloved, are you willing to live a life of wonder? And if your answer is yes, the way to cultivate that question, the way to cultivate that is by asking yourself, what's next? What is the grand divine vision for my life, for my activity, for my center, for my community? What is the grand divine idea for my health and wholeness, for my contribution to my communities? What are the steps that I can take to continue to go wow. I have traveled the world. I've seen wonders of the world that take my breath away. And yet, what I know is that everywhere that I am seeing wonders of the world. That even the most spectacular Victoria Falls or the Great Wall in China, and to see and to stand last month, I was under a waterfall in Costa Rica, and to feel that awesome water falling, and me just being and sensing that sense of freedom and oneness with all of life. In that moment, there was nothing else. And I don't have to wait to be under a waterfall, to be in that sense of wonder right here with you. Because you are greater than even that waterfall. And when we begin to see ourselves and one another from that perspective, to be in awe of one another, to give each other that grace, to lift each other up, that, beloveds, is living everyday wonder. So I'm going to invite our practitioners forward as we move into a healing prayer. And what I know is that there is one power, one presence, one life. This life is love. It is joy. It is peace. It is oneness. It is perfect. It is my life now. And as I know that it is my life now, I know that it is the life of all. That in the beginning, whatever beginning there really was, and there is no beginning in eternality, but in the beginning, this power, this presence, this life created everything out of itself, because there was only it. There was only the power and the presence. There was only this life that we call God, that we call love, that we call peace, that we call power and presence. There was only this thing. It was only the thing itself, this isness, this glory, this power, this presence. And it created everything out of itself through an act of involution. Therefore, everything, all life, is the unique, unrepeatable, magnificent, powerful, perfect way that God is expressing in all forms, especially in human form. So as I speak this word now, this healing word, this word of power, this word of presence for and about this spiritual community and all spiritual communities, what I'm simply knowing is that there is nothing that can separate my life or any life from the life of God, that there is only this one life in, through, and as all the expressions. And so I'm powerfully calling forth and claiming into our experience, into our consciousness, into our awareness, that healing is only the revealing of the truth, that no healing needs to happen, but only the revelation of the truth of who we are, that we can unmask, that we can let go, that we can stop pretending that we're these mere mortals, that we're only human, and that we can stand in the power and the presence that we are the unique and unrepeatable way that God is showing up in human form. How grateful I am in this moment that this revelation, that this truth is being opened up, is being heard, is being accepted, is being welcomed, it is being applauded, that it is being the wonder of all that already is, and that each and every one of us says yes. So wherever there is any appearance of lack, of limitation, of doubt, of fear, of illness, any appearance of hatred or separation, right now through the power of this word, through the revelation of the truth that we are indeed one, it is now diminished into the nothingness from which it came. And only that perfection and only that truth and only that light that is God is shining forth. This is the wonder that I speak of. This is the wonder. I wonder if I believe this, if I trusted this, if I lived this each and every day, how my life would change, how all life would change. And so I'm simply calling for it that we say yes to this practice, yes to this knowing, yes to the revelation of this truth, that we awaken humanity to its spiritual magnificence, and that we practice these spiritual tools and are transformed by the power of this word. And so because I pray believing that it is done, I simply say yes to the revelation of wholeness, yes to the revelation of abundance, yes to the revelation of peace, yes to the revelation of health, yes to the revelation of love and of joy. And for this and so much more, I give thanks. I release my word now into the activity of God's law, knowing that it is already done in the mind of God. Therefore, we joyfully and in wonder and in awe celebrate its manifestation in our human experience. It is so. It is so now, and now it is, and so it is.
Thank you for joining us for our Sunday service. Please remember to like, comment, and share this video on Facebook, YouTube, and any other social media you are a member of. To donate to CSL Beaumont, you can text GIVE to 951-420-6909, or you can visit our website at cslbeaumont.org and click the donate button at the top or bottom of the page. You can also mail your donation to CSL Beaumont, 802 Maple Avenue, Beaumont, California, 92223. Have a blessed day, and namaste.